the model that consultants took originally to work at companies, they borrowed it from medicine.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
And I was thinking, this podcast is going to be something lonely and I don't know what I built in my head. And so I did resist to it, but guess what happened? I started to do it and I'm warming up to it. And now I'm meeting amazing people like you. And now the whole thing is actually, I find the good thing into the things that I hate, same like you, right? So probably maybe that's the message. Maybe what you really hate is just to go inside and do this tedious thing, to go inside LinkedIn and talk to people and the whatever. But eventually, well, when people reply back and you start to build the relationship, kind of pay off, right?
I am an idea person. I like ideas. Okay.
You are a
I
creator like
love,
me. You are a
yes,
creator like me, I can tell.
I love to think. Okay. Come out with ideas. And I don't like small talk. Then what do I do when I network? Nobody told you it's not an obligation to have a small talk when you network. That's a misconception.
Exactly.
Actually, I relate to people who I just meet with substantial, good, deep questions. Okay. When I see somebody like you leading a podcast, which I want to appear, usually my first message is tell me what inspired you to lead this podcast. Tell me about your story. I am genuinely interested, okay, about how they came up with the idea, okay, and that develops into actually very good conversations.
Hmm. And then, Alfredo, actually, this is my story resonate with yours also because I've been this entrepreneur, that my first property business sold like 5 million, but you see, uh, we're doing really well. It was going in autopilot and everything was working. But you know what? Airbnb came, market changed drastically, and we have to de-escalate and we had to repurpose. And also in this period, I opened a restaurant in London and I lost over 200,000 pounds plus my girlfriend back in the day, and I have a huge setback. I lost 2 years of my life working in this restaurant from Monday to Sunday. So I completely understand when you say that, when you have these setbacks, yeah. I thought that this at the time, I thought that, after I closed the restaurant, that I was feeling really bad because I lost my girlfriend, I lost the money, I lost time with my family. I'm battling myself. Why I got this wrong so hard and why I was so stubborn to don't close it early because I do have the mom of my girlfriend from the first day that she opened the door of the restaurant. She told me she was an entrepreneur. She told me close it. It's not gonna work from day one. But I have this, stubbornness and ego and all the things that goes within ourselves. I'm gonna make this work and whatever. And well, I escalate the loss for 2 years, and 200,000 pounds in London, especially if you are starting a business, is a big hit. So after this incident happened, I did learn a lot. Now sometimes the people, the students are telling me, well, shall I start an MBA? I'm telling them, take the money and open a restaurant. You're gonna learn more about business. Having a restaurant, I'm trying to make this work that actually paying this MBA, because at the end of the day, the biggest lesson on business, I actually learned it not from my property business, which was making very good money. I was running autopilot. I didn't need to go to the office. My manager used to come to tell me what she was doing with the business and show me how much money, and I didn't need to move. That was easy, build that property business, and and I thought that business was easy, and I thought that all the business were the same. And after this restaurant, I realized that I was just lucky
Right.
that the first business that I opened It have set I open in the right time, in the right moment, with the right product market fit, and the profit margin, they were huge. And I thought, I was very young back then, that I was a big deal, and I knew a lot about business. And this restaurant showed me that I was a nobody,
Right.
and brought me to ground, brought me to zero. And then internal reflection started to go, Alfredo, where this ego, I'm the big boss, everybody need to hear, listen to me, and whatever. I started to de-escalate in that ego, and I started to work with my team. How can I help you? How can I save you? How can I make your job better? And until that restaurant made me, uh, you see, realize also what kind of business I don't want to be. After the restaurant closed, I knew. I didn't even knew what new business I'm gonna have, but I knew already what I don't want. I got
Right.
clarity. So, but again, Alfredo, because you face it setback, and some people lost 200,000 pounds, and they commit suicide, and you also have a bad experience, right? So how you overcome this
Right.
challenge? How you overcome that challenge? Because people think that it's easy, but I can tell you that it's not. When you work your ass off and you have something and you build something, and sometimes the market change, COVID come, president change, somebody change something, any external factor can actually comes and can get you out of business in a month, in a 2 months, and you don't even know what's happening. You don't even know why. So tell us how you become that challenge, Alfredo, and what is the biggest lesson that you learned from that?
Well, for me, things turned around actually in 1 second. It was a magical moment. I was depressed on a couch, on a fetal position for 8 months.
Wow.
And yes,
Wow,
was
Alfredo, that's a big hit.
yeah. And
Wow.
I went upstairs to my study. Harry, I do not know why I was meant to go there. It was like a force bringing me there. And I went to my
Wow.
study, and on the desk, I saw a yellow folder, which I also I do not recall placing there. And I opened it, and I saw the results of a test on positive psychology I had taken a few years earlier, and I read my top 5 strengths: creativity, love of learning, curiosity, perseverance, and bravery. And immediately, as I read them, I said to myself, Alfredo, you've been for 8 months on a couch. You have forgotten who you are.
Wow. That was
And I,
powerful.
yes, very powerful. And something clicked within me. And a month later, I was back to school at age 53, social work school. And I not only in the midst of depression, and I have 4 court cases because of my manic episodes. And not only I went through school, I had the highest grades, highest grades, and I was given the most prestigious award, the Inspire Award for
Wow.
the best, leadership qualities. And that's the way I became a social worker, and then eventually certified on positive psychology. And what I do, I help corporations, executives, and people discover their top strengths of positive psychology, because this is not only me who went through this transformation. We know from research, from evidence, that if you know your top 5 strengths, you have the potential of growing 9 times. Nine times. And if you apply your top 5 strengths, you have the potential to grow 18 times. In other words, the average person, 70% of Americans, are operating below their capabilities 9 times the capability,
Wow.
just by not knowing their strengths.
This time.
And it takes no more than 15, 20 minutes to discover your top 5 strengths of positive psychology. It's
Wow,
not even.
Fro. This is really powerful, and it have a lot of fundamental what you just sharing with me today, because this is very important to evaluate that. And I learned this the hard way, because I'm a creative person. I'm a person with ideas, and my girlfriend also, right? So I own few companies. My girlfriend also own few companies. And when we were hiring people at the beginning, guess what happened? Some people came into the organization that they also have ideas. Yeah. And we are
Right.
talking to our team. I said, look, we don't we don't want more ideas here. We have plenty ideas. We need doers. We need someone to execute. So now every time that we hire in our company, we have to make sure that whoever is coming in have this skill, somebody that is more about implementing, a taking action person, a doer, somebody that have this into the skill set. But we learn this the hard way, because at some point in the company, I remember that all we have was ideas, because there was
And
nobody to implement the ideas, right?
there are good ideas and there are very damaging ideas. And I want to share
Absolutely.
with your audience a very damaging one, which I have discovered through my work on positive psychology. The idea that we need to fix people and fix organizations. Let me tell you what we really need to do. We need to shift from a culture of fixing to a culture of nourishing.
I agree with you.
We know that a person thrives by helping that person maximize what is working,
100%.
not zooming in what is not working and trying to develop that part of the person. And managers were trained to give quarterly reviews where they focus on, okay, what do you need to improve now? Sometimes we need to do that because we have the bottom line. But in general, we know that the person is going to have a sense of loyalty, which is, needed so much at companies, well-being, and ultimately productivity when the person feels that is using the top 5 strengths of positive psychology. Then we need, this also for education. What is the kid weak at? He's not good at math. And we do not really concentrate on what the kid is excelling, which may be art. Okay, not everybody has to be an engineer.
100%.
And it's like, good athletes, a 100-meter runner will work very hard to run 5 seconds faster. Will not train to be a jumper. Okay. Okay. Then we need to stop doing that. Companies, by the way, interesting. You look at the development of management, the model that consultants took originally to work at companies, they borrowed it from medicine.
Wow.
That's why we use the word diagnosis of the company, reports. All the language come from medicine. Then when we didn't have models at the origin, at the origin of consulting. Then what happened is that borrowing from medicine, we now also acquire the idea that it's about fixing or normalizing, not thriving. And most of management is about what to fix in people, instead of what to maximize that people already are doing great.
100%.
Greater.
100%.
Okay, and we can change that paradigm. Oh my God, I mean, the sky is the limit.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.